Okay, now we're in distance. Okay, let's take roll. Allen. Betancourt. Brooks. Browning.
Here.
Burnett. Here. Chansui.
Here.
Oh, okay. Cook. Davis. DeGraw is here. Delgado. Here. Simmons is here. Herringer. Here. Holsworth is here. Jones.
Here.
Jordan
Here.
is here. Cole. La Fortune here. Lambo is here. Mamie. Oh, sorry. O'Brien. O'Brien. Ortega is here. Rodriguez. Here. Smith. Here. Tanon.
Here.
And Westcott. I saw that name. Yeah, Westcott is here. All right. Okay, now I just noticed that some of you out there in Zoom has been typing in messages. Let me catch up on those. Oh, I guess you guys were discussing among yourselves about the audio. I take it you can hear me now, right? Okay, good. All right. So, if I remember correctly, the last time we were here, we were discussing chapter 2. And I don't think we're finished with chapter 2 quite yet. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Because I do seem to recall doing questions 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think I left it at 5. If I remember correctly, I did I do the 8 parts? For number 5? Yeah. No? But I did do these, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's look at number 5. And in the case of number 5, they're asking you to okay. Don't know what's going on here. Okay, so in the case of number 5, they're asking you to convert from one unit to another. And the thing about most of these questions is that unless you're a genius of some sort, you won't be able to tell you won't be able to tell directly the relationship between the initial unit given and the final unit. For some reason, this looks a bit darker than it should be. So like for example, in this case, I don't know if anybody can tell me how many days are in a second directly, right? If you can do that, well, that's good for you. But for most of us who are not on that genius level, we would have to go through some steps, right? We'd have to ask ourselves, okay, as far as days are concerned, how many hours are in a day? As far as hours are concerned, how many minutes are in an hour, and so on and so forth, until you get to the day unit, right? So in this particular case, oh, I forget. Give me a minute here while I set up my tablet. Okay. Cool. Okay, what is going on here? What is it? All right, so we know that the relationship between days and hours is that 1 day is equal to 24 hours. We also know that 1 hour would be equal to 60 minutes. And we know that 61 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Right? So we know these relationships here. So basically, what we can do based on what we have here is that we can convert from seconds to minutes to hours to days, right? So what that means is that you're going to start off with this value here in seconds, and you're going to take it through 3 conversion factors in series, all right? Until you get to the day unit, and then you can do the calculation. So we're going to start off with the 565 900 seconds. And the first thing we will do is convert from seconds to minutes. So basically, we're going to use this relationship here. And the way we would set this up here is that we're going to put 1 minute above and 60 seconds below, right? And of course, the reason why we do that is because we want to be able to cancel out the second units, right? So we're left with a minute unit, right? So we have accomplished the first step going from seconds to minutes. And then to go from minutes to hours, we'll be utilizing this relationship where we will put 1 hour above and 60 minutes below. So that this will cancel out with this, and you're going to end up with the hour unit. And then the last step is where we convert from hours to days. Right? And we know that there are 24 hours in 1 day. So we're going to put 24 hours below, 1 day above, so that this unit will cancel out with that. And then we'll do our number crunching. So 565 900 divided by 60, divided by 60 again, and then divided by 24. And according to my calculation, now we have to round this off to, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs here, and these are all exact numbers. So therefore, according to my calculation, this works out to be equal to 6.550 days. And that's how that would be done. All right. Any question about this one? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so based on what we did in A, how would you tackle B? Let me hear some ideas. In this case, they're asking you to convert from 17 years to minutes. All right. So let's start off with the 17 years. What will you multiply this by first? In other words, what would go up top here as a numerator and what goes down here as a denominator?
Days. Like 365 days.
Oh, yeah, okay, so up top, you're gonna have 365 days. And down here, you're gonna have 1 year, all right? So the years unit will cancel out. Okay, very good. What next? What will be the next conversion factor? Okay, so what would go up top here? 24 hours. 1 day. So the day units will cancel out, all right? So what would be the next conversion factor? 60 minutes above and 1 hour below, so that this will cancel out with that. So basically, that's it, because you're gonna end up with the units of minutes, which is what you're working towards. So again, we have to do some calculation here. 17 multiplied by 365, multiplied by 24, multiplied by 60. And in this case, we have to round off the 2 sig figs. So this works out to be equal to 8.9 times 10 to the 6 minutes. And that's how you do that. All right? Any questions about this one? Any questions? Yes, sir.
You said as you divide by the.
I'm sorry?
First I multiplied and I because I'm the so
I'm sorry. I'm not.
okay. How they should get 8.9,000.
Oh, 8.9 times 10 to the 6? Okay, so when I do the calculation, on my calculator display, this is what I have: 8935200, right? That's what I got, right? So basically, we have to round up to 2 sig figs. So basically, that means you have to drop this 3 and all the other digits and replace the 3, 5, and 2 with placeholder zeros, right? So the final answer will become 8, 9, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? What I did was that I basically expressed it in scientific notation for the sake of being, like concise, right? And basically to convert from standard notation to scientific notation, the decimal point that is presumed to be here is moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the left. So therefore, that's how we get the coefficient of 8.9. And because we moved the 6 places to the left, we multiply by 10 to the 6. That's how that is done. All right?
Next.
Okay. So the next question, C, they're asking for you to convert from miles to feet. Now, I don't know the direct relationship between miles and feet. And that's the reason why I provided a table which you'll have access to during your tests. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Okay, so this is a table. Okay, so this is where you need to find out the relationship. So where's the length? Okay, so we have to use this section here. So going back to the question says you're going from miles to feet. So according to this table, let's see here. Oh, they gave you a direct relationship actually. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet, all right? So you're going to start off with the 43 miles. We're going to start off with the 43 miles. All right. And we have to multiply by a conversion factor, which relates miles to feet, which is 5,280 feet, which will go top. So 5,280 feet. And down here 1 mile. And that's pretty much it. Don't need to do anything else. So basically that's the setup. So let's do the calculation. 43 times 5,280. And in this case here, I have to round off to 2 sig figs. And when I do that, I end up with 2.3 times 10 to the 5 feet. That's how you get that, right? Okay, any questions about this one? Any questions?
Yeah, I'm really confused.
Uh-huh.
So I just did 5,280 feet over 1 mile, 'cause that's how many feet are in a mile, and then I multiplied it by 43.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got 227 and 40 feet.
Right, that's what I got too. I got 227,040 feet, right? But
Yeah.
because we have two significant digits here, right? And this here is an exact relationship between miles and feet. That means that we have to round this off to 2 sig figs. So if you round this off to 2 sig figs, it becomes 2,
Oh, so
3.
you just rounded up. Okay.
Right, exactly. 0,
And
0.
then that makes sense, thank you.
And then
And then
I express it in scientific notation.
okay. And then how do we know when to like multiply or divide? Because for the first like question A, you were dividing and then we've been multiplying for B and C.
For the first question,
Yeah, you were like dividing that number by 60 by 60 and then by 24.
yeah, divide by 60, divide by 60, and divide by 24, yes.
And then for the next one, you were multiplying those.
Well, basically what you're doing in each case is multiplying by 1 over 60 in this case, 1 over 60 and 1 over 24. So that's the same thing as dividing this number by 60, then 24. It's just two different ways of doing the same thing,
Okay.
right?
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions about this? Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, so I take it it's okay for me to clear this. And scroll down. Okay, so the next one, they're asking for you to convert from pounds. Oh, by the way, I just saw some messages here. Want to miss. Okay, I don't know if this question was asked by somebody who asked. Oh, no, okay, so someone was asking, when converting answers to scientific notation, we always round to the first 2 sig figs, and the answer is it depends on the calculation. If you like the one that we just did, if it is required that you need to round to 2 sig figs based on the calculation, where when we multiply, we identify the number with the lowest number of sig figs, which happens to be 2, then that's what we do. So it all depends, all right? Basically, you need to remember that when you're multiplying and or dividing numbers, you round off your final answer to the lowest number of sig figs of the numbers involved in the calculation. So that's to answer Aisha DeGraw's question. And let me see here. Okay, let me see here. Hold on, wait a minute. When do we know when to multiply or divide? I think that was a question that was asked by somebody a while ago. I think I answered that question. When converting to a smaller unit, the fraction we multiply by will have the larger unit on top and the smaller. Oh, I think that's an answer. I don't think that's a question you're asking, or you're just making a statement. Again, Asian in the ground. Let's see that. Well, we converting to a larger. Oh. Again, I'm not sure if it's a question. I don't know if you, I'm not sure what you're asking, to be perfectly honest. Hold on. Well, yes, if you're converting. Oh, okay, my bad, okay, all right. You're answering questions, not asking, okay, all right. Thank you for that. Okay, so, where was I? We're converting from pounds to kilograms, all right? So again, we have to refer to the table, to see what the relationship is between the pound unit and the kilogram unit. So let me do this. Table, okay. So, let's see here, pound to kilogram, okay. We don't have, oh, yes, we do, actually, right here, 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2046 pound, right? So now. We can start off with the 165 pounds. And the question is, what do we multiply by? So that's where the values in the table comes in. So we can put above in the numerator, we're gonna put 1 kilogram. And below, we're gonna put 2.2046 pounds. And that's the setup. So all we have to do now is do the number crunching. So let's see here, 165 divided by 2.2046. And according to my calculation, this works out to be equal to, now in this case, we have to round off to 3 sig figs. So that would be 74.8. And the units here would be kilogram, all right? Now, let me just mention something here. I think I mentioned it already, but if not, let me do that now. So basically, you're going from pound to kilograms, right? Kilograms is a metric unit. The pound here is a non-metric unit, right? So in this particular case, you need to take into account this number here when rounding off to the number of sig figs. So here you have 2.2046. So that's a total of 5 sig figs. And this number here has 3 sig figs. So what you need to do is round your final answer up to 3 sig figs, which is 74.8 kilograms. So let me just make a general statement over here for future reference. If you're going from metric units to metric units, then the relationship is exact, right? So for example, if you're going from kilograms to grams or meters to centimeters, then that relationship is exact. The same is true if you're going from non-metric to non-metric. All right? Again, the relationship is exact. However, if you're doing a conversion where you're going from metric to non-metric, or vice versa, then this relationship is not exact. And you have to take the into account the number of sig figs in those conversion factors involving converting from metric to non-metric or vice versa. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the case of E. In the case of E, you're going from 100 yards and you want to convert to meters. Let's see a couple of questions arising again, but I don't have your questions, comments. Let me see here. Okay, so Chancellor is saying that it doesn't matter. It's the number of sig figs. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, wait a minute. That's probably. Look like you guys are talking among yourselves. I don't see a question being asked, so I'll continue. Okay, so now again we have to go to the tables and look at the relationship between yards and meters. And let's see if we can find that somewhere here. And what do we see? We see that 1 meter is equal to 10936 yards, right? So the way we would set this up is we'll multiply by 1 meter above and 10936 yards, 1.0936 yards. Right, so the yard unit will cancel out here and here. And we're going to get 100 divided by 1.0936. Whoops, mistake. 100 divided by 1.0936. And according to my calculation, I got 91.44 and some other digits. But because this number here is 1 sig fig, then that means that I have to round off the answer I have here on my calculator to 1 sig fig, which would be 90 meters. That would be the answer to that question, right? Yes, sir.
So you're looking at the 100 yards for the sig fig, right?
Exactly.
How is 100 yards sig fig?
Because you have no decimal points. Yep, you have no decimal points and you have zeros at the end. Right? If you remember the rules we went through,
Oh, okay.
if you have zeros at the end of a number, and if there's no decimal point, then those zeros are not significant. Now, if I had put a decimal point behind the zero, then I'd have to round up the final answer to 3 sig figs, which would be 91.4.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions about, any other questions?
That kind of conversion chart that you're on right now, are we gonna be allowed to use that on like tests and quizzes and stuff like that?
Oh, yes, you get a full packet which contain this information, periodic tables, common ions, all that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't expect you to memorize these relationships, all right? Okay, continuing. Okay, so the next question is going from 22,000. So going from 22,647 inches to mile, right? Now, what I'm gonna do is go straight to the table because you're gonna need that information again. So this is the table right here. And you want to go from inches to miles, right? All right, so my question is, how would you start this off? What would be the first conversion factor you're going to use based on information provided here, right? You want to go from inches to, what is it? Inches to miles, all right? So, any ideas? Okay, any ideas? I'm sorry? All right, let's start off with that. So 1 foot above, 12 inches. And by the way, let me just say this. You can have situations where there's more than one way of doing it, right? You can use, I mean, 2 persons can work on the same problem and end up with two different sequences of conversion factors. So let's go with what he suggested. We're going to convert from inches to foot. So the inch unit will cancel out here and here. And then what? What will be the next conversion factor? Feet to miles. Okay, so 1 mile will go up top. And 5,280 feet will be below. And that's it, right? So let's see here. 22647 divided by 12 divided by 5,280. And according to my calculation, now here in this case, we would have to round off to 5 sig figs. So my answer I got here, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Well, my answer I got here is 0.35743 miles. Right? Any question about this? Any questions? All right, going back to the assignment. Okay, so let me clear. Where is it? Okay, now in this case, we're going from 2678 centimeters to feet, right? So again, we need to use the table. You know what, let me, let me clear all this here. And then scroll down. Oh, that's the last one, okay. That's the last one for that question number 5. All right, so. We're going from 2, 6, 7, 8 centimeters. And we're trying to get to feet. So let me bring up the table again. So this is the table that we're going to use. All right, so again, this section is what we're going to use because we're concerned we're going from centimeters to what question said, miles? Feet, I'm sorry. Okay, so let me hear some suggestions as to how we can make that conversion happen. What would be the first conversion factor that you put here? Going from centimeters to feet, all right? So what would be the first one you would use? Okay, so that would be this right here, right? So that's 1 inch above and 2.54 centimeters below. All right, so the centimeter units will cancel out. Next step. So we would put 12 inches below here and 1 foot here, so that the inch units will cancel out, and that's it. So let's see what this gives. 2, 6, 7, 8 divided by 2.54 divided by 12. And according to my calculation of this, we have to round off to 4 sig figs. So I got 87.86 feet. That's what that is done. Right? Okay, any question about this one? Questions? Questions? All right, let me hear this. Get out of. Okay. Okay, somebody's asking, can we access the conversion print? Oh, yes, you can print your own copy. Oh. I see that you okay. Yes, you can locate it in the files link, under the files link, in the folder labeled table, all right? Okay, so that's an answer to the girl's question. Okay, so let's scroll down here. And well, these are relatively simple conversions, right? The key thing you need to know is how to use the metric prefixes. And again, that is provided for you in the table, right? So if you look at the table, you see that, for example, milli is the same thing as 10 to the minus 3, right? And the symbol for that is M. So for example, here, 25 milligrams is what you're given, and you're asked to convert to grams. So basically, since milli means 10 to the minus 3, 1 milligram is 10 to the minus 3 grams, right? So basically, we start off with the 25 here, and we have to convert to milligrams. And the way we're going to do that, oh, by the way, this should be milligram here. So here, we're going to put 1 milligram. And up here, we're going to put 10 to the minus 3 grams. And that's it. And when you work this out, you're going to get 2.5 times 10 to the minus 2 grams, which is the same thing as 0.025 grams, all right? And that's basically it, all right? So I don't think I need to do the others in this section because if you understood what is done here, then you should be able to do B, C, and D. All the prefixes, all the metric prefixes are provided to you, all right? So I will leave that for you to do. If you have any problems, please let me know, all right? You can come by my office and, or you can contact me via Zoom and we can talk. Yes, ma'am.
Which one would be the right answer?
Sorry?
Which one would be the right
Oh,
answer?
they're both correct. They're both,
They're both correct?
yeah, they're both saying the same thing.
So we put that on the test.
That's fine. Unless the question specifies that you write it in scientific notation, which would mean that you have to write it like this, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna leave the rest of number 6 for you to do. I'm going to clear this and scroll down to number 7. And in the case of number 7, they gave you information about a cubic piece of nickel, and it gives you the length of each edge, and they gave you the density, and the question is asking what is the mass of a cube. Now, in order for you to do this, you have to recall the formula for calculating the density of an object. And that formula is density is equal to mass over volume. What the question is asking for is the mass. So therefore, the mass will be equal to the density multiplied by the volume. Now, the density is given as 8.9 grams per centimeters cube. So the question is, how do we determine the volume? And for a cube, and this is something you should have learned from, I guess, your high school math, the volume of a cube is given by the length of each edge cubed, right? So in this particular case, since the length of each edge is 5.25 centimeters, we have 5.25 centimeters, and then we cube that, all right? And this centimeter cube unit will cancel with the centimeter cube unit, so your final answer would be in grams, all right? So let me do the calculation here, 5.25, then I cube it, and then I multiply by 8.9, and the answer must be rounded off to 2 sig figs because we have 3 sig figs here, we have 2 sig figs here, so whatever you get here must be rounded off to 2 sig figs, and when I did that, I got 1.3 times 10 to the 3, which is the same thing as 1300, right? And that's basically how that is done, all right? Any questions? Any questions? Excuse me. Okay, the next question, excuse me. They gave you the density of a metal. And the question is asking, what is the mass of a sample of metal when dropped in 28.9 mils of water and the volume increases to 56.4 mils? Now, this here involves a way of determining the volume of an irregular object. So if it's not like a sphere or a cube or anything like that, then this method is used. Basically, what you do is that you put water into a graduated cylinder, you record the volume of the water, and then you put your metal in it, or whatever the object is, and basically, you're going to see the water level rise to a new volume, right? And basically, the difference between the initial volume reading and the final volume reading will be equal to the volume of the object that is placed in the water, because what happens is that the object is displacing water of a volume that's equal to its own, all right? So the question is asking for the mass, so we'll be using the same formula here, but this time, we're going to use the density being equal to 9.80 grams per mil, and this time, we're going to find the volume of the object. What's the volume of the object? It's the difference between these two volume readings here, right? So we're going to multiply by 56.4 mils minus 28.9 mils, right? And then we work out what's within the parentheses first, right? So 56.4 minus 28.9, and according to my calculation, this part here gives 27.5 mils, all right? And then we do the multiplication, where we're going to multiply the 27.5 by the 9.80 mils. So 27.5 times, and according to my calculation, I got 269.5. However, because this is 3 sig figs, and this is 3 sig figs, then whatever you get here must be rounded out to 3 sig figs, which means that this becomes according to my calculation, 270, and I need to put a decimal point here to indicate that this zero is significant, so that you end up with 3 significant digits in your answer, right? So the final unit would be grams as a result of the cancellation of the milliliter unit, and therefore this would be the answer. All right? Any questions about this one? Any questions? 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 Okay, let me clear this and scroll down. Okay, now this one is interesting. It's talking about an automobile is able to travel 900 miles on 35.8 gallons of gasoline. So the question is asking, what is the gas mileage in kilometers per liter? All right. So basically, to get the mileage, typically what you do is you take the miles, which is the 900 miles, and divide that by the volume in gallons, which is 35.8 gallons, right? And then you do your calculation to get your answer. But if you did your calculation at this stage, if you divide the 900, oh, by the way, very important, there's a decimal point here, so I can't forget that. That would help in terms of the determination of the number of systems, right? Now, as I was saying, if you divide the 900 by the 35.8, you're going to get the mileage in terms of miles per gallon. But what the question is asking for is the mileage in kilometers per liter, right? So basically, what you'd have to do is convert miles per gallon to kilometers per liter. So how do we do that? Well, what you can do is focus on converting from miles to kilometers, and then focus on converting from gallons to liters, right? So again, we're going to need that table. Let me bring that table up. We're going to need this table right here, and we're going to, okay, what I'm going to do is focus on converting from miles to gallons, all right? So to convert from miles to gallons, we're going to use this relationship right here, all right? No, I'm sorry. What is it? Miles to kilometers, I'm sorry. So we're going to use this relationship right here, not miles to gallons, miles to kilometers. So where we use that is we're going to multiply by 0.62137 miles below, and up top, I'm going to put 1 kilometer, right? And that works out so that the miles unit will cancel out, right? So we have successfully converted from miles to kilometers. The next part is to convert from gallons to liters. Now, to do that, I think I need to scroll down on this page here to see the relation. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we need to go from gallons to liters. And here's the relationship right here. So here's the relationship right here. 1 gallon is equal to 3.7854 liters. So the next conversion factor is, we're going to put, since gallons is down here, we're going to put 1 gallon above. And then down here in the denominator, I'm going to put 3.7854 liters. All right. So that this gallon unit will cancel with that gallon unit, right? And then we do the number crunching. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now is take the 900 divided by the 35.8 and then divide by 0.62137, and then I'm going to divide by 3.7854. And then hit equal, and according to my calculation, now in this case, we'd have to round off to 3 sig figs. So the final answer I got here is 10.7, and because all the units cancel out, leaving behind kilometers per liter, the final answer will be expressed in kilometers per liter, which is what the question was asking for, right? And that's basically how that is done. All right, any questions about this? Any questions? Questions? Yes, sir.
So
There's a number with the decimal point, the no number afterwards, what is that? Like, why don't we put it in?
You're talking about this?
Yeah.
Right, if you have zeros at the end of a number, and there's a decimal point anywhere in that number, then those zeros are significant. So the 900 with the decimal point, basically has 3 significant digits. Now, if there's no decimal point at the end of the number, then those zeros will not be significant. Okay, so that's a very important rule, all right? Okay, any other questions concerning this? Any other question? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a Dropbox for the submission of this assignment. So let me do that now. Here is first to avoid confusion. Okay, so let me go to assignments and assignment 2. Oh, by the way, I'm quite sure you have noticed that I've graded your assignment number 1. I'm going to send them to you later on this evening. I was hoping to get here early to do that, but didn't succeed. So this evening, I'm going to send your graded assignment to you. I'm also going to post the assignment key so that you can compare your answer to what the key says. And if you have any questions, if you think I've made an error in grading, whatever, please feel free to contact me concerning that. So let me, okay, so today is the 2nd. I'm going to let this be due tomorrow, which would be September 3rd. Okay, so it's going to be due tomorrow at midnight. And I think I've posted an announcement concerning how to submit your this. Okay, so it will from today to tomorrow. Okay, so now the Dropbox is available, and let me just check and make sure I remember posting. Right, okay. So please follow these guidelines when it comes to submitting assignments. All right, these are very important. Makes my life a lot easier when I'm printing and grading, especially when it comes to the appearance of your assignment when I print it. Because what I have found is that in some cases it's fuzzy, or because you're using a pencil, it doesn't clear too clearly, I can hardly read it. I would strongly recommend that you use blue or black ink when it comes to writing on your handout so that I can see it clearly. No typing will be accepted, right? All assignments must be done in your own handwriting, all right? So make sure you follow these guidelines while submitting your assignments, all right? Okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to stop here for today. Let me see here. So in preparation for class next week, I want you to watch the videos for chapter 3. Yes, chapter 3. All right. And in fact, let me also publish the videos for chapter 4. So chapters 3 and 4 are the videos that you need to watch. All right. So come prepared to answer the questions, to do the assignments, and so on. If you have any questions, of course, again, while watching these videos, excuse me, please feel free to contact me. Yes, ma'am.
Chapter 3 is combined with this. Do you want us to just?
No, chapter 3, hold on.
Because we were supposed to watch chapter 3's videos.
Yeah, okay. And you know, I'm glad you said that. Some of you, I think, jumped the gun a bit and submitted chapter 3 or chapter 2, I don't remember exactly. So don't worry about, well, as far as chapter 3 is concerned, that we're going to discuss that assignment in class.
Okay, so
All right, so just watch the videos. I mean, you can attempt the questions, of course, but we're going to look at the questions together in class. All right. All right, so that's it, folks. I'll see you guys next week. All right, very important too. I think I mentioned that. Make sure that your name is at the top of each page, and make sure that you submit your assignment as one document, right? I don't want to be printing different documents, each having a page of the assignment.
Put our name on each.
Put your name at the top of each, assignment, right? Because sometimes,
Each side.
of each page, right? Because sometimes what happens when I'm printing, somebody else might be printing something and it gets lost in the shuffle and it's kind of hard for me to match up, you know, the pages for this particular assignment. So
Okay.
just make sure you write your name for each page.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
When will our first test be?
According to the syllabus. Should be next week, I might have to put it off.
And will we get like any sort of like review for it or?
Well, what I plan to do is grade your assignments. Send it back to you, and also I'm going to post some past test questions. Answer keys actually, so you can use those to help to review. What's up?
Last week, I was, registered. I'm trying to see,
Well, I can check. From here.
but I wasn't able to turn anything on because it was not.
Okay, I understand, yeah. What's your last name?
Annie.
Oh, you're the one. I remember. Okay. Let me just check, just to make sure that you are, okay. Here. So, okay, that's you. Okay, so you're in class. Okay, so let me, I do here. Let me ask you something, because I don't think, I did your attendance. Was your financial aid, affected in any way?
This didn't accept my student loans.
Oh.
So I dropped everything, but my advisor.
Oh, okay. Okay, so as far as your assignment is concerned, that you didn't get a chance to submit, what you can do is email it to me as a PDF attachment, right? In Canvas, not the regular copy.
Yeah.
In Canvas. I think that's the only thing that you haven't done.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so just email that to me,
And
and you should be
am
fine.
I gonna get full credit?
Yeah, since it's not your fault,
Thank you so much.
no problem. Yes, sir.
So. But it's still a specific rule for converting metric, like non-metric unit.
If you're going from metric to non-metric unit, that would not be an exact relationship. So therefore, what will happen, like, for example, let's say, no, there's one exception which I forgot to mention. I probably should mention it in class instead. But let's say you want to convert from, I don't know, from 25 feet to meters, all right? So if you go to the table and you look up the relationship between feet and meters, right, you see that you have, let me see here. Okay, we could use this, right? Whereas we go from feet to yard, so 3 feet equal to 1 yard. And then we can go from yard to meters. So 1 yard is equal to 1.0936. No, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. It's 1.0936 yards. And up here, we're gonna have 1 meter, right? Now, if you're doing this calculation, right? This here would be an exact relationship, right? This would not be exact, because you're going from meters to yards, right? Meter is a metric unit, yard is a non-metric unit, right? So this would not be exact, right? So basically, when you're looking at number of sig figs, you have to look at this number right here. Not so much the 1 meter, but the 1.09360 yards, right? That's how many sig figs? That's 5 sig figs, right? But you have 2 sig figs here, so whatever the result is, when you do the calculation, you have to round that off to 2 sig figs. Right, because you have 2 sig figs, you have 2 sig figs here, you have 5 sig figs here, you have infinite sig figs here. So that won't even come into play. So therefore, whatever you get as a result of your calculation, you have to round out to 2 sig figs. All right?
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, let's see here. Okay, for you guys out there in the room, I am signing off. Oh, let me check with your comments first. Okay, Mr. Brown. You're saying something about different calculators. Different calculators should not give you different answers if you put the numbers in the correct way, all right? So, that should not be an issue. Somebody's asking, okay, yes, Miss Jones. Videos on chapters 3 and 4 is what you're gonna watch. And, oh, Miss Jones again. Oh, but she's not even here anyway, so we're not, okay. Okay, McFadden is. Okay. All right, I'm signing off now, folks. See you guys next Tuesday.